Oh, hello there everybody, welcome back to the channel. Dodgy Gamer here, bringing you another guide to international management. Last time we looked at how to set your game up so you can have a nice national pool of players available for some of the smaller nations in world football. But we also saw there that some nations were not selectable, not available. Well, today we're going to look at how we can use add-on leagues to make those nations playable for your international management career. But before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, please do drop a subscribe down there, hit that subscribe button, get that notification bell on so you know when new videos are coming out. We've got the Guide to International Management series. You can check out the playlist for the previous episodes on that. We've also got some Let's Play series going on. I'm managing Santa Clara in Portugal. I've got an International Journeyman coming soon. And we've also got some experiments, the New Gen Nation experiment. We've got some guides to youth academies and different clubs you can manage. So lots of content coming for Football Manager 2021. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so if you can drop a subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Anyway, as we said, we're going to look at how to activate some of the nations that are not available in the game. Now, when you set your career up, you've got the option to choose International Manager. We've got Europe here, a lot of the nations available, but you see there's one or two that are not. For example, Andorra. My team, I managed club and country, FC Andorra and Andorra in Football Manager 2020. They're not available here. Why is that? Well, the reason is in order to manage a nation, you need to have a large enough group of players to make a squad from your national pool. In the database, if there aren't enough players to generate a national pool, the game won't let you choose that nation for that reason, that when some of those players retire, or if a few of them are injured or suspended, you won't be able to put a squad together. So if we come over to Africa as well, you can see a lot of nations, big and small, in the continent of Africa are here, but some of them are not. Madagascar, for example, is not selectable at the start of the game. We see the same in Asia again. We've got some of the big nations selectable, Japan notable by their absence, but that's licensing issues rather than database issues. But a place like Bangladesh, for example, is not here. North America, full of many nations with all those Caribbean islands, but hardly any of them are selectable at the start. And finally, Oceania. Quite a few nations selectable here, but for example, American Samoa, that team of the famous 31-0 defeat, are not here. So, how do we get those nations active? How can we set it up so we could manage Andorra, or Bangladesh, or Madagascar? Well, the answer is we have to go and download some add-on leagues, some user-generated leagues that have been created by various people using the pre-game editor. Now, I'm going to show you in this guide 2 ways you can do that, using the Steam Workshop, but also, of course, because not every Football Manager player these days is on Steam, Epic Game Store now hosts Football Manager. I'll also show you how to download them manually. And please note before we continue that this works for the main version of the game on PC or Mac. It will not work, however, for Touch or the Xbox edition or the mobile edition because you can't edit databases and add-on files in the same way in those versions of the game. So we'll start with Steam. What you need to do if you're on Steam is come to the workshop, which is under the community tab, and then you need to find Football Manager 2021. What we want to look at is here, League and Data Updates. So as I said, my aim here is to manage a national team. So I need that league active, so the clubs are active, then the clubs are generating new players, those new gens or regens, if you prefer that term, then that will mean my national pool is getting constantly renewed with new players coming in. Now, I'm not so worried at this time about the accuracy of the leagues and so on, because the main thing is to have those players generated for the national team. However, if you wanted to manage in some tiny nation, you want to manage in one of the Caribbean islands, for example, or one of the Oceania nations, then you probably want to just have a look and see which ones have got good reviews, which ones are accurate competitions. Now you'll see here there are lots of leagues, there are extensions to existing leagues in the game, there are other leagues that are not available, like you can see Cyprus here, or there are fantasy leagues as well. But we're interested in these nations that are not currently playable in the game. There are 2 particular creators who I've noticed are producing a lot of leagues, getting good reviews, and they seem to be quality. One is this guy, Weary, who, as you can see here, has created quite a lot. Now, if we click on one of them, for example, we click on the Kenya, But now, you can just hit subscribe here and download the individual leagues you want. You'll also see here that Weary has helpfully made a collection called FM21 Complete Pyramids. So here you see a list of all the add-on leagues they've created. There's quite a lot of them. And you could simply hit subscribe all, and these will automatically download to your documents folder, your Football Manager 2021 editor data folder, which I'll show you in a minute. Or you can just pick the individual ones you want. You see here American Samoa here. You could just click that and it will automatically download. Another creator I'd recommend checking out, Timo. They've also created quite a lot of leagues, got some extra competitions as well, like the Arab Club Championship. So extensions to leagues, but also leagues that are not available. We've got the Seychelles, Sao Tome and Principe. And so on. And again, there's a mega pack available, 191 items in here. So again, you can come through and just select the individual ones you want. Now, I have an International Journeyman series coming up, as I mentioned. The concept behind that is I start with the bottom ranked nation in the world, and then I kind of go around trying to go to bigger and bigger nations and work my way up to the top. So when you start a new game of Football Manager 2021, the tiny Caribbean nation of Anguilla is the bottom ranked country in the world. So I'm going to add them in. We'll add in a couple of other Caribbean nations for now. So we'll get Aruba and so on. Some of those that I mentioned were not available, just so you can see them, like Bangladesh. I'm just going to add a few more, and then I'll show you where you will find those files. So once you've selected the files you want, just if you want to see where they go, in Documents, Sports Interactive, Football Manager 2021, then you find this folder, Editor Data, and you can see there those leagues I selected, Andorra, Anguilla, Aruba, Bangladesh, Cayman Islands, Madagascar. They're all now here, and they will be available when I load the game. But what if you're not a Steam user, you're on Epic Games, or you just don't fancy using the Steam Workshop? Well, you can download some of these files manually. There are many popular fan sites. I'm sure you know the names of many of them. I don't need to mention them here, but they have league data updates available that you can download yourself. Or the other option is you can go to the SI forums, and specifically the forum we're looking for here is the Editor's Hideaway. You can see it here, and there is here a download forum. So a lot of the people who like getting into the pre-game editor and creating these extra competitions, they will open threads on here where you can download things. The good thing about this is you can get a bit more direct contact. You can make requests. You can talk to the creator. You can report any issues you found as well. So you get that bit of interaction. So I mentioned before Weary. You can see on the Steam Workshop there were a lot of files from this particular creator, and there's also a thread here where you can get that mega pack as well. So we can see here there's a bit of an overview of what's available. There's a list of all the leagues. You can see many leagues available, and then at the bottom we've got some download links. Now, as it's quite a large pack, it's been split into 3 parts, so you would just download those as normal. They'd go into your downloads folder. Then once you've downloaded them, you'd go to the area I showed you just a moment ago, your Football Manager 2021 folder in Documents and Editor Data. If it's not there, you can just create the folder yourself, and then copy those zip files into here and just unzip them, and then all the leagues will be available here. One small word of warning, I would say, you probably don't want to put too many leagues in here, because then that's going to slow the game down and potentially cause problems when you're trying to set the game up. So I'd be selective. Just choose the few leagues that you're interested in, the few nations that you're interested in, and work from there. So here we are back in the game. We want to set our career up. Now you'll notice once you've downloaded those files, you no longer have the quick start option available. As it says here, you've selected a custom database. This means you will need to pick your team later when the database has been loaded. So we can go to advanced setup, but what we want to do first, here where it says database, just click on here, and this is going to give us an option to choose which of those files that we've downloaded and we want to actually activate. Now they are automatically activated when you download them, but let's say, for example, you changed your mind, you don't want to have Aruba, you can just deselect it from here. So as you can see here, Bangladesh is now available as a selectable league. Madagascar's here for Africa. We've got Andorra available now. We've got Anguilla. We've got Aruba. We've got the Cayman Islands. So all of those leagues are now selectable. So you can see those leagues are here. We can, just like when we choose one of the regular leagues, we can choose how many tiers we want active, and those will now be selectable. We haven't picked a team yet. We have to load the database first before it will let us do that. The other key thing which I should mention, very important before we continue, you want to tick this box in advanced options. Add players to playable teams. So then all those teams in Anguilla, Aruba, Bangladesh and so on are going to have full squads available. Now a lot of those of course will be new gens rather than real players, but that's going to give us enough to manage that national side. While we're waiting for the game database to set up, a little word of warning. Like I said, you have to be careful about the quality of the files you're choosing. Now, I chose all of these files created by the same person, Timo, and one of the reasons I did that is compatibility. If you go downloading an Anguilla file from one creator and a San Marino file from another creator and an Ecuador file from another creator, you could potentially cause issues when you try to run the game. And that's another thing I should stress. It's very important that you take the time to test your setup before you actually start the game. So what I would do here is, once I've added my leagues in and I've set the game up, I wouldn't be setting that up as the actual game I want to play. I would just add a manager and then I would holiday through at least a full season. You want to go through a full season, let all those leagues come to their reset dates, just to make sure that there's no issue with the database. All right, you see now, so the database is loaded up. I've set up my manager profile, and now we get to choose our club. So we could choose a club from Anguilla, Andorra, and so on. But remember, we're interested in national teams. So just to show you now what's available, you'll see Andorra is now selectable as a nation that we can start the game at, or Anguilla, bottom ranked nation in the world, 211th. They're now available and playable as well. Aruba's here. You can see Bangladesh is here. Cayman Islands, one of my favourites. They're here as well. Madagascar too. So all these nations that were unselectable, as you would have seen at the start of the video, we now can directly start a career managing one of them. So here we are. We're manager of Anguilla. We can have a look at the squad. Now you should notice that a lot of these players, some of them will be real, some of them are going to be ones that have been generated just to fill up those clubs. So you see here the Anguillan League is in. If we look at a team like Docks United, we can check out their players and we'll just pick one at random. Sam Mason Mooney, you can see he's new gen, he's 21 years old, but he's been added in as a player. Pretty poor player, of course, because, you know, it's the bottom ranked nation in the world. But we do have enough players available to make up a national pool. Now, in future guides for international management, I will be showing you like how to manage your national pool, how to scout players for the national team, how to manage all those aspects, manage your staff and keep your squad ticking over. So make sure you subscribe for those and you check out the playlist as well. Make sure you stay up to date. In the meantime, do let me know down in the comments any particular add-on files you've used that are good quality and that you can recommend to everybody, and nations that you've managed or would like to manage. Any obscure nations, do let us know. We love to hear those stories. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I'm Dodgy Gamer. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. See you again soon.